once you've started dreaming a little bit about the type of celebration that you want to have, whether it's a true elopement or an intimate wedding or a multi-day or some kind of combination of those options, you might be wondering, well, when do I need to actually start booking my vendors and really sort of solidifying my plans? So the sort of quick answer to that would be roughly 6 months. 6 months to a year, depending upon how complicated your plans are. And especially when it comes to something like attire, you may be needing to order a custom dress or something. That's going to take a lot longer, and you're going to need a longer lead time. Otherwise, you're going to have to buy something off the rack or maybe secondhand, which is certainly not an issue. But for some people, they really want that custom attire. So know that you need to start at least thinking about that a year in advance. When it comes to your standard elopement, 6 months is really great because it allows you to plan for travel. It allows you time to research and book the vendors that you think are going to be best suited for your plans. It just allows time to make choices and to not maybe forget something that's important to you. Can it be done in less time? Absolutely. 3 months, 4 months. I've had people plan lovely elopements in about a month. That's cutting it a little bit close if you really, if you really care about some of the details, flowers and attire, that type of stuff, or just want to make sure that your plans are really what you want. You definitely should have a little bit more time. That said, I've had people hire me the day before. So it really just depends on how much time you have and what your priorities are. Again, couples who may be doing something just much more simple courthouse wise first and then planning something larger later, your lead time may not need to be quite as long because you're probably not getting a custom dress. So you could certainly do something in 3 months. And then intimate weddings can actually be at a disadvantage if you're calling, restaurants and other places a year in advance. They may be like, yeah, we're not available on that Saturday. And it could be because they are truly booked with a wedding or because they have a minimum and they are not going to lower, if they ever will, lower that minimum until maybe 3 months before. So if you're planning an intimate wedding at a restaurant or another venue, be aware that, if there's a place you have your heart set on, certainly a year plus to book, but they may have a minimum of how many people, that you need to have, or that you need to pay that minimum fee. However, in some places, not all, will maybe lower that minimum or be more willing to work with an intimate wedding 2 and 3 months out, simply because they're going to be unlikely to book a much larger event, and they perhaps just simply want the business. So that's a little bit of a tip there, that if you are having that type of an intimate wedding, it's really not usually to your advantage unless you're dead set on that place, to start calling them a year in advance, even 8 months. I would say though, a few months before you might be able to get a better deal, especially if you're flexible, just because of the fact that they may not be booked and may be looking to fill that date.